Hello my dear friends, I hope you all are doing good. This is Prashant Mahoney and I warmly welcome all of you to Study IQ. Identify the person that you can see on your screen. With this, dear friends, Prime Minister had a sort of interaction with FICCI during FICCI's annual general meeting, and you know very well that at present Congress and BJP are at each other's throat because of Gujarat election. Himachal Pradesh elections are over, and tomorrow, that is 14th of December, this election of Gujarat will get over too, and a result is on 18th. So things would be a bit quieter after tomorrow's election, but Prime Minister talked about this non-performing assets during UPA's regime. Now, dear friends, I'm sure you know about non-performing scenario, what it does to banks and things like that. But for new students, very briefly, see, this is a balance sheet. You have asset on one side, you have liabilities on the other side. Assets are the things that belongs to you, and liabilities are things that you have it at present, but you have to give it back to the person from whom you have borrowed it. So say for example loan, right? A loan is a liability for you. So when you see the banks, if you see the bank's balance sheet, right, then loan given to someone else is a sort of asset for the bank, right? Because the main product, you can say, of the bank is money, isn't it? Money is the thing in which banks deals with. So if it has given you money, then for you it is liability, for the bank it is an asset. And if you are not able to pay back either interest or the capital, then, or the principal, then that is known as non-performing asset for the bank, because it is not producing any sort of it is not delivering performance, right? It is not producing any sort of interest or profit for the bank. So that's why we call it NPA. Now the other thing that is coming out, and remember, this is not said by a BJP person here, this is said by the Prime Minister, because he's not in a sort of political rally. He whilst he's speaking at this annual general meeting, he is talking as the Prime Minister of India. So he said that in fact UPA government used to force the banks to give huge amount of loans to this industrialist, and he termed this thing as a bigger scam than 2G or other scams. Now the other thing he talked about is he said that the government is trying to the government, or the Modi government, or the current government, he is saying, he said that is more sensitive, and the government is one of the, you can say, endeavor of the government is to fulfill the desires and aspirations of the younger generation. Now we all fall in this category, so every one of us, we know what we need from the life, right? We have some dreams and we need to buy this and we need to do that, and we want to educate ourselves, etc, etc. So you can add your own experiences with this thing when Prime Minister is saying that his government is sensitive enough he is sensitive towards the needs of the people, as well as it is working for fulfilling the dreams or the aspiration of younger generation. Apart from that, he also said that government has taken many steps to strengthen the banking system. We know recently government has recapitalized this public sector banks, and you know the important role of banks, right? Loan and everything. Without, if you are not able to get a loan at reasonable rate from the market, then you cannot expect the businesses to go up, and you cannot expect new businesses to come into your country or your state or your locality. And when it comes to job creation, this capital or the money, flow of money plays a very important role. He also talked about this FRDI bill. FRDI bill special video lecture is available on StudyIQ, so make sure you check that one out. It is delivered by me both in Hindi and English. It is available, so do check it out. Now the thing is, FRDI bill, he said that the rumors that deposits of the public will be you can say chewed away by the bank, just in case if banks are in red. This is a thing that is going on in the market, but Prime Minister has said that the deposits of the people or the public's deposit will be kept safe. He has assured this thing. He has also given some important highlights on, thrown some light on this Jan Dhan Yojana, that 30 crore poor has got this Jan Dhan account. He also talked about that 3 crore women have got LPG connection, and when we talk about 3 crore women, we are also talking about 3 crore families, roughly speaking. And under Mudra, 3 crore new businesses have came out, and you have 9.75 lakh youth who have taken loan or who have benefited from Mudra scheme. With this, dear friends, we know the issue of Doklam. It was one of a very big issue between both China and India. And in fact, if you go through the background of this whole Doklam issue, then we know that the main issue was between China and Bhutan, right? We know that China is a very big and aggressive country. The way at present, the way it is carrying itself, it is a bit aggressive. And here you have a small and tiny country called Bhutan, and we know very well that Bhutan cannot, all right, sustain the force of China alone. So anyways, in 2007, India and Bhutan had a friendship agreement with each other, and as per this agreement, just in case if there is any problem in front of Bhutan, like this sort of Doklam issue or any sort of border issue or things like that, any sort of war, just in case, then India will stand by the side of Bhutan. This is as per the 2007 agreement, and that's what we did, right? We protected Bhutan from this intrusion of China, and finally things are good, but it created a huge amount of pressure on a bilateral relationship between both the countries. The other thing is that Sushma Swaraj said she shared some of the very strong lines. When I say strong, I think I mean to say that we have to ponder over this thing. We have to try to understand this thing. What she said is, in the parliament, she said that rather than going ahead with a dialogue after a war, right? You know, if you want to end a war, then as well you have to chat, or you have to have a talk with each other. And if you want to avoid a war, then as well you have to have a discussion with each other. So she said that rather than having a dialogue after a war, it is better to have a chat right now and make sure that there is no sort of wars like situation. Of course, China is not looking for a war, and India is not, of course, looking for a war with this country. Both these countries are neighbors. We cannot change our neighborhood. This is a fact, and it is better for both the nations to work with each other rather than being a competitor of each other. Ideally speaking, that's how it should be, but in reality it is never like that. Even when it comes to Japan and India, both these countries are very close friends, but then as well when it comes to the interest of our own country, we have to stand against Japan as well. That's how it works. You don't have any permanent friends, and you don't have any permanent enemies when it comes to diplomacy. With this, dear friends, we reach our focus topic of the day. It is about Jerusalem. You know, a couple of days ago, USA's President Mr. Trump declared that Jerusalem is the official capital of Israel as per United States of America. And he also ordered that the embassy of USA from Tel Aviv should be transferred to Jerusalem. Now, here is the bit here, right? This is the portion that we are talking about. I'm sorry about this thing, as I have already started discussing with you guys, so I cannot remove this thing. Anyways, I'm sure you will. I will make it easier for you. Don't worry about it. Now let's see the picture that you can see on the screen. It is of Jerusalem, and I'm sure you know that Jerusalem is important. It is a holy site for three Abrahamic religion, right? The one is the Jewish people, right? For them, it is very important. This Jerusalem city, and then of course Christians, right? And then you have a holy site of Muslims as well here, right? So all these three Abrahamic religion, for all of them, this place Jerusalem is very important. Now the thing is, if we go back in the history, then it was in 1921 when this Transjordan, now we call it as, now it is known as the state of Jordan, the country of Jordan. Earlier on it was known as Transjordan, and it was formally separated from Palestine. Right, and now the Palestine that we know today, but at that point of time, what we used to know as Palestine, at present we know it as Israel and the West Bank. Right, we call it West Bank and Gaza. So that's how it is. And here it is, this is your Israel here, as you can see, and that's your West Bank, and this is Gaza Strip, right? Both belong to this. Gaza Strip and West Bank fall under the Palestine. So keep this thing in mind. And then you have Israel here. You can see that they are sharing border with each other. So the problems, it seems, the way they are posturing with each other, it seems that the problem is not going to end in near future. Anyways, then in 1947, as per United Nations resolution, it was proposed that a second partition should take place, and this time the territory of the west of the river of Jordan should be declared this Palestine and Israel and two-state thing. Was decided that both this Palestinian people as well as Israelis should have their own land. But as soon as Israel was formed, Israel had a war. It means it's not that Israel charged over Arabic countries. There was a war, right? Who is right and wrong? It is none of our business to judge which country is right and which country is wrong here. So both this Arab world as well as Israeli people, they had a war with each other. And at that point of time, this West Bank, this portion here, this West Bank was taken over by Jordan. And this Egypt, right? Egypt controlled this Gaza Strip. This portion here came with Egypt. So that's how it was. And after this 1967 war, Six-Day War, it is known as that. In that war, Israel won over Jordan, Syria, Egypt, and couple of other powers who were providing a sort of backup. So in this 1967 war, it took over this Gaza Strip it snatched away this Gaza Strip from Egypt. Egypt lost badly, and Jordan was also defeated, and finally this Israel conquered the West Bank as well. And since then we know that problems are going on, and later on we also saw bit ups and downs between these two places, between these two countries, you can say, Palestine as well as Israel, right? There were leaders from both sides who were ready to have a sort of a war with each other. But finally, after the intervention of many countries, and now we were at a state where things were a bit okay. Of course, the problem has not been solved, but things were looking a bit okay. But then this thing came, USA's statement, and this Organization of Islamic Cooperation is not at all happy about this decision of United States. It has said that all the Muslims around the world, Muslim leaders, should work together to provide a befitting reply to USA. They have also condemned, they have said that this is violation of international law, because remember, even the United Nations has United Nations General Assembly, or the United Nations has not accepted this Jerusalem as official capital of Israel, and it is because of Jerusalem. This is the question of Jerusalem is not sorted out yet, so this is creating problem for both the countries. This is Palestine and Israel, and OIC said that this will create a disturbance or instability around the world. And remember, OIC is not a small thing. It is the second largest intergovernmental organization after United Nations. It has 57 members, and the members are spread over 4 continents, right? And it is also believed that OIC is a collective voice of Muslims around the world. Here is the map. Here you can see it is in South America as well, bits of Europe here, right? And You don't find it in the member countries are not there in North America as well as Australia, right? So that's everything that we have got today. Now we have to wait and watch what happens, what comes out from this thing. But dear friends, regarding questions, don't worry about it. I will compensate you guys with some more questions in tomorrow's lecture. With this, I end this discussion. Make sure you download your PDF file from Prashanti Mauni's my Facebook page, and do give us your like, as well as don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will see you all soon. Till then, enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.